Mentally or physically, success could be defined as getting up one more time after you've been knocked down over and over and over again. I'm T.Wood, and this is Trying for Moments, where I highlight significant moments in life that are far beyond the surface to inform, encourage, and inspire people to triumph over their life's challenges. With me today, Senator Powell is from Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida. He has a bachelor's degree in journalism from Florida A&M University. And matter of fact, let me step back, from the Florida A&M University, and a master's in urban and regional planning from Florida State University. He served in the Florida House of Representatives for several years before serving in his current position in the Florida Senate. With me today, everyone, Senator Powell. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Man, T, it is amazing to be here with you today, and to all your listeners and viewers, I am so excited to have the opportunity to inspire people. As a rattler myself, man, I know there's no greater feeling in the world than to be inspired by other rattlers who continue to strike, and strike again. We're making our dent on the universe.
Man, you better know it. Look, just for starters, to jump on right into it, what does a regular day look like for you, like Monday through Friday? What does a regular day look like for you?
Well, see, there's no such thing as a regular day for me. I am a state senator, but I'm also, as you said a little bit earlier, a urban planner. And during the daytime, I work at a job as an urban planner. I am an AICP certified planner, which, I got my master's degree from Florida State, and that's what I do during the daytime. I also have 3 staff members who work for me in my Senate office who handle the day-to-day business of the office with regard to any constituent casework, anything dealing with a state agency where someone can't get their unemployment. We deal with directly with the Florida Lottery, Department of Education, Department of Revenue, any department that is directly impacted by the state, we deal with on a daily basis. I meet with my staff on a weekly basis to discuss what has happened in the office. And also I make those personal appearances where if there's something that needs to be attended, then I'll go myself and I'll take staff with me and to make sure that everybody's learning and watching and see what we do. Now, a normal day, let's say today. Today, I went to my day job in the morning.
Right.
I left there. Actually, I left there virtually to attend an event online.
Right.
In the pandemic world, I've been able to save a lot of time by being able to log right on and do virtual events as opposed to traveling throughout the district. Save time, save money on gas, and save energy. But it's a double-edged sword because I'm able to travel virtually by jumping online. I've ended up having to do a lot of events for areas outside of Palm Beach County. I recently did an event for the Democratic Black Caucus in Jacksonville. I have done an event for the Democratic or the NAACP in Panama City on the Gulf Coast. I've done events for people in Orlando. So it keeps me even more busy.
Right.
But I'm still doing personal appearances. This week, I also did a legislative update to the town of Jupiter, as well as tomorrow I'll be going to Haverhill to provide a legislative update. And we did a virtual legislative update to the town of Palm Beach. And Palm Beach, of course, is where number 45 lives.
Boy, I tell you, did I say regular? Did I say regular day? Excuse me, shame on me. Look, give us an idea of what it was like growing up in Palm Beach County, Florida.
Oh, righty. Let's see. Growing up here in Palm Beach County is it's your everyday story of growing up in one of the minority type communities. I learned this when I was in Tallahassee studying at FSU, the economically disadvantaged community. I lived in Riviera Beach, and I wouldn't say we were poor, right?
Okay.
But I would say that my mother was disabled and my father worked a job. Generally, he was construction or cable. And my mom, she didn't depend really on disability. I had 2 nephews that lived in the house with us. So we figured out a way to make it work. What I did see that a lot of people didn't see is two hardworking parents making it happen. And I had two people in the house. So I wouldn't say we were disadvantaged because we were wealthy and rich with love. I hear people say things like, well, you know, getting free lunch and this, you're in poverty if you got free lunch. I didn't find that out until I was in college that they considered you living in poverty if you got free lunch. Because I thought we were okay. So I got free lunch. I thought people who paid for lunch were silly, but you know, I worked hard. My parents worked hard to make sure I didn't have to do the same things they did.
Right.
I've seen it all. I used to get on the bus with people who were talking about chipping cars the night before. And you know what chipping cars means breaking into cars with a screwdriver and stealing them. And people who, you know, they did their things. But I had a dad and I had a mom in the house. And no matter what anybody says, you know, this is my truth. Having a father in the house makes a huge difference, because so many times I could have shifted and went another direction. But my dad was in the picture, and not only in the picture, he was in the house. So he may not have attended every school function.
Come on.
Which I used to, you know, get a little offended by. Man, my daddy don't even come to my basketball games, my football games, or whatever. But when I got home, he was home.
Come on, man.
So, you know, I count it as a blessing now, because some kids, their fathers may have come to their basketball games or their football games, but when they went home, that father went to his house.
Come on now.
They went home with their mom.
Whoa. Boy,
that father was a father at the game.
Come on now.
My father was a father in the house, good and bad.
Right.
Sometimes I was like, man, he needs to ease up. He's a little, my dad is much older, was born in 47. So this generation, that generation, was old school mentality. Very tough.
Come on now.
Tough love. He would say he loved me, but sometimes I'm like, man, this kind of love is not the love I want.
See, I was going to ask you, you know, sometimes, you know, our folks have very creative ways of keeping us in line. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like your father had a creative way of keeping you, he got your attention. Let's just say that he found ways to get your attention.
He did. Statute of limitations is gone. So I think if it's not, go get that man right now. No, I'm just joking. You know, my dad kept us in line. You know, the last time I can remember him getting me in line, I felt that it was a bit excessive. I was 14 years old, and I didn't think you should treat a 14-year-old the way that I was punished when and I remember to this day, and you know, it is what it is. But he felt me and my nephew had stepped out of bounds, and he got us back in line, and we had friends and people outside who knew what had happened. And it's just like, man, yeah, my dad had us in check. He had us in check. And because of that, I went away to school, and, you know, I knew failure would mean that I would have to go back home.
Oh, that's motivation. That's motivation.
Right.
Like, but I guess all in all, it's a part of who you are.
It is. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my story. It's a part of my infrastructure. One thing I can tell you about my father is, and he's still alive today and around today, and we talk every day. But one thing I can tell you about my father is I never went outside looking for the approval of other people based on the fact that I had approval from my parents at home. My dad would tell me I love you. My mom would tell me I love you. And they would say, you did a good job. We're proud of you. I didn't go seeking the approval of, you know, a teacher or someone outside of my house to make me feel like I'm doing okay, and thus putting myself at risk of mental vulnerability, physical vulnerability, or any type of psychological vulnerability from hoping that somebody outside would accept me. My parents accepted me for who I was, who I am, who I will be, and who I'm supposed to be. Therefore, I never had the need or desire to be a part of a group, to do something that would embarrass them, or to do things that were not healthy for me or the people around me. I had a responsibility, to be successful because there were 2 kids following me,
Right.
and there were people in my family that were around me. So I needed to make sure that I was successful for the rest of the family and to be a role model for everybody else around me. So, I credit my parents for, in the middle of the hood,
Right.
inspiring me to do well, inspiring me to get out. My next door neighbors, one of them is in jail right now, and one of them I'm trying to be politically correct, but he was shot in the back of the head. And then my little cousin, who grew up next door to me, he ended up passing away from a mental illness, had complications from a mental illness.
Okay.
The issues were, this is what I saw. These were the people around me. I know hood life.
Man, look, I'm gonna switch lanes real quick. Because when you look at everything that you just described here, the next question I want to hit you with is, well, first off, many people don't realize the importance of HBCUs.
Boom, shaka.
Describe the level of love that you have for your HBCU, which is the Florida A&M University.
Man, it is unconditional, unfettered. And I will tell you, the day I had never walked onto the campus of Florida A&M prior to me being accepted and having to go to the dorms, which was Pattyfoot that year.
Pattyfoot.
My cousin, I had a cousin who lived in Crestview, Florida, northern parts of Florida. She was already attending FAM.
Okay.
Everybody had told me good things about FAM. I was nervous to go to FAM because I'd also heard that if you finish the first 2 years, you're going to be fine. But there were a lot of people I ran into in Palm Beach County, Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach, who had went and I went to FAM. Oh, it was great. Did you finish? My second year, I had to drop out. So I went there with a mentality that I'll do these 2 years as hard as I have to. But my love is unconditional. There's no shortage of inspiration from professors, inspiration from the students who were around me, challenges of life. You go to Tallahassee without any money and you don't have parents around you, so you have to grow up. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have a group of friends you are insulated by your friends, and somebody in this group of friends has to be an adult. I can specifically remember being with my friends all the time freshman year and correcting myself. Man, when I grow up, and we'd be like, no, we're grown. We're grown.
Ooh.
We get out of school, when we graduate, when we do this, when we do that. But realizing that when we got to FAM,
mm-hmm.
we were grown.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to learn how to grow up. You don't get outside of your comfort zone and grow until you leave home. If you stay at home after you graduate from high school, for me, I was Clara and Bobby's boy. And that's who I would have been if I wouldn't have left. Mm-hmm. Clara and Bobby's child. And even when I came back for summer breaks or some stints to stay with my father for whatever, as I'm between apartments or whatever.
Right.
While I was staying with him, I became his boy. Hey, where are you going? What time you coming back? Why you came home so late? Sir, do you realize that I've lived not your kid? As a parent, they never see you as anything other than the child who they raise.
Mm-hmm. What piqued your interest in journalism? Like, what really made you want to dive into being involved in journalism at FAMU?
You know what I was thinking when I got to FAM? I looked at all the different majors,
mm-hmm.
different categories, and can I be truthful and authentic with you for a second?
This is Travel Modes with T.Wood. Absolutely.
I went in, and my major when I started at FAM was general studies.
Okay.
And I felt I was in college, but I was insecure about not having a major. I felt like general studies was almost a cop-out. You'd be in class and students would stand up and say, my name is such and such, and my name is Bobby Powell Jr. from Riviera Beach, Florida. I'm a freshman studying, and to say I'm a freshman and my major is general studies was embarrassing to me.
Oh.
So I looked at all the majors, and for me, I thought public relations was something that I do well in. I like the idea of marketing. I like the idea of being able to sharpen my writing skills, and then the idea of relating to other people. Public relations, you dress the part, you present. And I felt, well, this sounds really, really good, interesting. This is something I think I want to do. Met a few of the professors, met the journalism professors, saw at the time it was in Tucker Hall. I wish we had the school that they have right now, but I was interested in all of the things that they were doing. So I wanted to switch my major to public relations. However, I was killing it, in my general studies. It's just a mind block. Setting yourself up to know that you're just taking general classes that will set you up for whatever the major is you choose. And it's good for a lot of people. Some people may need to hear this, that if you are in general studies when you get there, because as a young person, you get pigeonholed into an idea of what a major should be or what your major should be before you even figured it out.
Absolutely.
I went in as a general studies student and became a journalism student. And that was it. I did not swap majors. Some of my friends would be like, "Oh, I just changed my major to history. And then I just changed my major to math. And I just changed my major to business."
That's the flow.
When they do that, 7 years later, still in school on that 7-year program, I was out in 4.5. I took my classes, I took it seriously, and did some internships and some studying. Got a holistic experience, and I was out of there.
So you didn't look back. Like once you went to that and chose that, you didn't look back. You just full steam ahead.
I'm a firm believer in if you make a decision, you stick with that decision. But you got to be decisive. If you want to be successful, you have to be decisive. And if you're decisive, you made the decision, stick with it. If you want another degree or you think you want to switch, once you finish this journalism degree, which is, if I said, okay, if I want to get a degree in something else, which I did, once I finish this degree, then I'll go to school and get a different degree. But there's no reason to start something, quit in the middle of the program without finishing, and then go, well, I think I want to do this now, because you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're wasting effort, you're wasting energy. So I finished with my degree in journalism, and I actually was flown out to California to the Annenberg School of Journalism, the University of Southern California, myself and another guy named Aurelio Metchins, who was studying journalism too. And they showed us their school. They were trying to recruit us to the Annenberg School of Journalism. I loved it. It was in California, the opportunity to graduate from there and be a publicist for someone, or to grow into a career in Los Angeles, I thought was a tremendous opportunity. Conversation with my father went a little bit like this. Hey, Dad, I'm going to California when I graduate to study at the University of Southern California. They flew me out there. I think it's nice. I don't want you to go over there. That's too far. If something happens, how am I gonna get to you? I can't drive that far, and I'm not getting on no plane. So out of respect for my father, I went ahead to FSU and studied urban planning.
You know what? That transition actually happened. Man, look, what sparked you to your desire to run for elected office? Like what drove you to do that?
It's there's an easy answer to this. The easy answer is, as most people my age, coming out of college, I was never interested in politics. This is before the Barack Obama era. This is before, we Black folk had really started to participate. Andrew Gillum had participated. Andrew Gillum was the first student at FAMU that I know of at the time who had gotten elected as a student to the city council member, to the city council of Tallahassee. So we were impressed. And we were like, man, we voted for him because he was one of us, put him in that position. For me, I had an opportunity as an urban planner, or working in the field of planning and doing internships or assistantships in Tallahassee, to speak to some of the people who were commissioners. And I've got on this tie and I got on this jacket, and people may look at me and go, oh man, he's so smart. Look at him. He's got on a tie and jacket. He's got to know everything. Once I started participating and paying attention to the meetings, I realized that I've got more information because of what I've read and what I've studied than some of the people sitting on that dais. So they're not the smartest people in the world just because they've dressed the part. And sometimes just because the person has on a suit and tie doesn't mean that they're here to serve the best interests of people. When I came to Palm Beach County, I was a, how do we say it? I'll put it to you like this.
Okay.
I was a planner in the city of West Palm Beach. I was studying for the AICP exam. Went to take the exam on a Wednesday. I failed that exam, returned to work. I failed that exam. I think I took it on Thursday, actually. I failed the exam, came back to work, and they had an economic reduction in workforce. They let your boy go.
Just like that.
I was typing on the computer, and I turned around. I looked back at my computer, was locked. And I said to the assistant, I said, hey, my computer's locked. She said, the boss at the time, the director, was downstairs with human resources and they wanted to see me. And I said, hey, what they want to see me for? And as I'm heading down the stairs, another young lady is walking up the stairs and she's crying. So as she's crying, I figured it out. I said, to myself, oh, they're not about to get me. So I walked downstairs. They told me that they're having an economic reduction in workforce. They know this is hard and they understand. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I had money saved. I wasn't too concerned. So as they were talking, I was listening. And they said, well, we just want you to sign this. And this is a release. And, this is a severance package. And I looked at them and I took one of the Whopper candies and popped it in my mouth. And I said, so you want me to sign this right now? So we want you to sign it right now. So you want me to sign this right now? Yes. I can't do that. I can't. Give me this. I'll get back with y'all in an hour. Right? What do I got to lose? What are they going to do? Escort me off? They said it's an economic reduction in workforce. They didn't say I was being fired. So I took my time. I went to the union rep. The union rep said, I'm not supposed to show you this, and showed me a list of all the people who were either being let go that day or being moved to different departments. Right. This is 2008. By the way, Barack Obama was elected to be the next president that Tuesday.
Right.
I failed that exam that Thursday, and then I got released from my position on Friday. And for me, I got directly involved in the political process. As a planner, I know about zoning, land development regulations, and growth management. As a Black person, that's something that most people don't understand or know about. And my study was in housing and community development. The cornerstone of wealth, not only in the Black community, but every community, is what? Home ownership. So I got directly involved, going to Riviera Beach City Council meetings, going to civic meetings, going and sitting into the library advisory board. I threw myself in. I was 27, 28 years old, and I knew how to throw on a suit and tie. I still knew how to relate to the public. Plus, I had the ability to write planning reports as well as press releases. So I was kind of dangerous, a person who has a degree in public relations and in urban planning with a master's with free time.
Right.
And
see, look, I tell you what, let me say this. I've come to a clear understanding that as we continue to live, you're going to face challenges, and sometimes they're unexpected. Many times they're unexpected. Can you think of a particular challenge in your life that might stand out, not necessarily bigger than the rest, but something that you just particularly remember that you might have made it through? Because you're here, smiling, intelligent brother.
Man, absolutely. I think about this. This is a challenge for me every day, and this is how I put my smile on my face. The hardest thing we ever have to do is lose people. And for me, I was the closest to my mother. My mother was the closest person to me in the world. And beside my mother was my nephew, who was 3.5 years younger than me. I mean, we were so close growing up. Sometimes I would turn around, elbow him because he's just behind me so close. And I'm moving him. And I was like, Brown, you can't be, Brown, you under me all the time.
That's close.
And when I was in college, my mother died. She had osteosarcoma, bone cancer, And from that, what I learned was my mom had been sick a long time. She had stopped working at Prince Pride when I was a young kid. She had been on dialysis for a while, over a decade, I think 13 years on dialysis, which at the time was about the limit. She had overcome a brain tumor. She had her shunt in her arm and her chest from the dialysis at some point had to be changed out. She had 2 hip replacements, and she still kept moving. In a wheelchair, my mom would pull herself up to the stove and try to fry chicken when I was on my way home from college. While I was a student in high school, I remember her driving to my games, and she was driving one day and she picked her leg up with her arms to put it on the gas and to put it on the brake. And my dad saw her do this. He said, "Hey, that's it. You ain't driving no more. You're done driving." When I see a person who could not walk, could not do the things that she was used to doing, but never stop moving, there's no reason for me to ever stop moving. So I stay inspired. I have overcome that on the way to the funeral, not the funeral, but the wake. I was rear-ended. One of my best friends was in the car with me, ended up going, he went to the hospital. I had to go to the wake because I had no choice.
Yeah.
So my car was totaled on the way to the wake. And one of my aunts saw me there and said, "I thought I saw a car that looked like yours in an accident." Well, why didn't you stop, dummy? Made it to the wake. And looking at my mother in a casket was the toughest thing that I ever had to do. Just as tough was a few years ago, my nephew, and we don't talk about this in the Black community, was suffering from a mental health crisis. He was very depressed. I'm a person who looks at the world through rose-colored glasses, the glasses half full. You know, things are bad, but they could be worse because, you know, I can walk, I can talk, I can see, I can hear. As long as I got my sight, my vision, my feeling in my legs, I'm okay.
Right.
And my nephew was very depressed, and he would say things, and, you know, he'll be all right. And, walking in front of a train. He tried to move at the last minute, and I was in Tallahassee. So I kind of beat myself up because I said I should have been home, right? I'm here serving other people and off doing different things, but I should have been there for him. And what you realize in life is you can't control anybody else's life but yours. And you can only move forward your personal agenda, and you have to inspire people by what you do. You can touch people's lives, but you cannot make them do what you want them to do. You cannot make them live the way you want them to live. And sometimes people get really, really sad. Hopefully you can inspire them to come out of that. Hopefully you can do things to help them come out of that. But if you can't, or if you don't, it's nothing to beat yourself up over or kill yourself because you could not save everyone. Some people we will save, others we can't. And we cannot beat ourselves up because we weren't able to save each and every person. And I've learned that.
There's a thing, a term similar, passion burnout or passion fatigue. A lot of people tend to deal with this or get this from the perception that we got to help, we got to do it, we got to change it, we got to help, we got to push, we got to do it. And while you're pushing and doing it, and let truth be said, truth be told, that you can only do what you can do, and like you said, doing it by example, what you physically do, but you can only do what you can only do. And beyond that, you pretty much have to let things, allow things to kind of work themselves out or the way it's going to work out, because you literally can intercept stress. You could take on all kind of worrying illnesses that come with that. I just think that is just so harsh and true what you just said just now. Would you feel, or what do you feel was the key ingredient for your mentality to get beyond that? What was the key for you? What do you feel was the key ingredient for you in those moments to get past that? Because there are people that have not survived similar things mentally. They can't push past it. What was key for you as far as in your mentality in getting past that moment?
See, God has me here for a reason, because it could have been me. Every day is a gift. It's the present. And we are going to run out of days. And every day that you live being depressed, being downtrodden, being hurt, that's a day that you're taking away from this life that you get a chance to live, to be exuberant, to be vibrant. We don't know what tomorrow holds. I could walk out of this office right now and get hit and be paralyzed. And if I didn't enjoy the 39 years that I've been able to walk and run and live my life, then I'm going to live the rest of it poor and torn down because I didn't enjoy every day that I had a chance to enjoy. Nothing is guaranteed. This is called life. Life is a series of hills and valleys. Sometimes you're on top of the hill and sometimes you're in the valley, and you got to learn to look at when you're in the valley, what is still good, right? I tell my sister this all the time. She'll call me complaining with something negative. I had to put her on punishment one day for a week. Well, I had put on punishment for a week because she was too negative on my phone. We can't do that, right? And it's hard because you don't want to miss days with a family member because anything can happen. But I've also got this thing where I cannot take a certain amount of negative. So we have to have a world where we balance. Yes, bad things happen. No matter who you are, you're going to be in the valley at some point. But if you're in the valley, if your legs don't work, at least your arms still do. If your arms don't work and your legs don't work, well, at least you can still see. And if none of that works, look at somebody else around you who's still doing. What inspires me? I've been at FAMU, and I've seen students in wheelchairs making it to class on time.
Absolutely.
You mean to tell me that this lady in a wheelchair can get to class on time, and this boy in a wheelchair can get to class on time, and I can't? You mean to tell me this blind person is in school making straight A's?
Come on,
a blind person is, and I can see, and I can't make an A? You mean to tell me that you got somebody who can't even use their hands?
Come on now.
And they're drawing pictures that look like that professional artists who can't use their hand drawing pictures with their mouth, and we complain and say, well, you know, you got an advantage. This person has an advantage. The way we are set up, there's nothing more powerful than the passionate, committed mind. And if you set your mind to something and you follow through, God will take you there. You got to be ready to go, and you have to be committed. What I think Les Brown tells the story about the breakfast, the bacon and eggs, right? And the question is, you know, when it comes to bacon and eggs, you know, you got the eggs, the chicken was a part of the conversation, but the pig was committed because he had to give it all up. What are you willing to give up, right?
You know what? I tell you what, if anyone wants to follow you as far as social medias and see, you know, be able to keep up with things that you're doing, where would they go to?
Man, I'm at Senator POW on Instagram.
Okay.
I have a Facebook official account, that's the one with the check. I have a blue check on Instagram too. I don't have all the different things you have to have a blue check. They just gave me the blue check. They say you're the senator. Blue check. I got the blue check on my Facebook page, as well as I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube. We do a weekly update on YouTube about the things that have happened in the community, things that I'm doing while in the legislature. And we also put that on Facebook and Instagram so people can follow me in all of those different social media platforms. We're trying to make sure we're as accessible in this millennium or in this century, these 2020s, as we can be.
Right. When you think of everything that we've talked about, or even thinking about your upbringing, you know, is there something there's a phrase I created called encouragement for free. Is there something that either you live by, a creed or something of that sort, that you could provide for our listeners right now for encouragement?
Absolutely. In public relations, we learn to say it, and say it again. And I've said it over and over again. And one of my family members who I met at FAMU, well, after my time at FAMU, but while I was in a conference at FAMU, Dr. James Barge, who passed away not too many years ago. But Dr. James Barge was the former education, I believe, undersecretary for education in the state of Florida. His motto was a life of service is a life that counts. And that stuck with me because in this world, anybody can be great because anybody can serve. And you don't have to be started to get great, to be great, but you do have to, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. And I always say it's my motto, it's especially in politics, a life of service is a life that counts. It's a reminder that it's not about me, it's about who we serve. It's so easy to get caught up in being Senator Powell. Senator Powell, I got on the suit. I'm Senator Powell. You walk me into the room and put me at the front. I'm Senator Powell. You bring me on stage. I get a chance to say a speech. But when you're serving other people, it's not about you standing on stage. It's about you highlighting this next generation. It's about you highlighting the other people around you. What I learned at FAMU is collaboration over competition. I run into a lot of Black men, sometimes Black women, who, when you are in the same space as them, they feel that you're competition. But most of the ones who I have run into, like UT, who have been graduates of FAMU, yes, you thought it not robbery to share your platform with Bobby Powell.
Absolutely.
Let's build each other up.
Absolutely.
And what you'll find is, and I'm hopeful that people will prove me wrong, because I did get a degree from Florida State. And the Black folk that went to Florida State and never went to FAMU were different from the ones that I knew at FAMU. They were in competition. Bobby Powell, as opposed to let's work together, let's build something. Hey, we're stronger together than we are apart. Hillary Clinton, when she ran, she said stronger together. Once we learn that we are stronger together, we can strike a mighty blow. But as long as we are taught that you have to be against each other and resist and fight each other, you can never get your eyes on the prize and be successful, because I need to be the governor, I need to be senator, I need to be this, or I need to be that, which means if you're running for me, you can never be friends. I gotta battle you. You might be my competition in the future. But if I look at you and say, you know what, that's my brother, and let's talk, and whatever you want to do, I'll get behind you. If I support you and push you up, lift you up, when you get there, guess what you can do? Reach back down and bring me back up.
Come on, man.
Come on. What Lisa, I can't think of her last name, but Lisa says yes, yes. Yes, yes. So when he says yes, yes, we can bring each other together. Abundance now. Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols says abundance now. We live in a world not of scarcity, but of abundance, where we have taught that we've been taught that it's scarce. Then we have to resist each other. I'm the senator in Palm Beach County, but I'm a Black man as the senator. So other Black men may feel I can't be the senator because he's the senator. He's got the Black seat. My seat's not the Black seat, by the way. I represent more people, much more people outside of the rule of Black. However, there's 4 senators in Palm Beach County. I'm not your competition. There's 4 different seats, but you've been conditioned to believe that because I'm Black and I'm in this seat, then that's the only seat that Black people can win. And we've been conditioned to believe that our minds are stuck.
Which is so far from the case and so far from the truth that lies, beneath what's being shown on the surface here. I tell you what, Senator Powell, I can't say thank you enough for you taking our time, here, allowing yourself to be open to providing this motivation here for all my Triumphant Moments of T.Wood family. Look, if there was something or a few words that would describe FAMU to you, what would it be?
I'll do this in a few words because there's really not a microscopic way to describe FAMU, but I would say it is the garden of the place where we're growing the next generation of movie stars, the next generation of political leaders. This is where we are at, and we don't even know we're there. Melissa Mitchell, one of my classmates, is a high-end fashion designer. Maurice Allen, one of my classmates and track and field athlete teammates, is a long drive champion. My friend Corey Cameron, who ran track with me I guess I got there after him, so I ran track with him. At FAM, is an entrepreneur who's living his dream and success. Our friend Jeffrey Lewis is an engineer. We've got people that I know who are movie stars. Will Packer got there. I left. I got there right after he had left, but he still came to the campus before he became Will Packer. Him and Rob Hardy, when they had their first movie, they were just former students. And this is where we grew. This is where our creative juices started to flow. We had energy to live off of each other. So it's the garden or the growth place of the next generation of the most successful people in the world. HBCUs do it, but there's no place like FAMU where we strike, and strike again. That motto, excellence with caring, means everything in the world.
Well, I tell you what, Senator Powell, before we leave out, is there anything else that you'd like to say? Could be for the followers there, because we're just grateful to have you here.
Man, I'm grateful for being here. I thank you for doing this and continuing to inspire people, inspire me, inspire everyone that is watching this. We have so many different opportunities and so many paths that we can take. And if we take the blinders off of our eyes, and the shackles off of our minds,
right,
and what we can do is exponential. And I hear people say it all the time. Well, you can be successful without going to college. Let me tell you something. That might be true, but there's no way coming out of the middle of Riviera Beach around, Trick Daddy said it best, ex-cons, ex-dope dealers, flow getters who don't see no hitters.
Come on.
Could have made it to where I'm at without having that FAMU growth experience. Everybody wanted to be a rapper. Well, not everybody, but most of the people I grew up with wanted to be rappers. They wanted to be football players.
Right.
And I left, and I've come back home to some of those same people. And guess what? 40 years old, still want to be a rapper.
Come on.
Out there, 38 years old, playing basketball with teenagers, arguing with them. I would see somebody my age, I schooled you. Well, you can't hold me down. And I want to say, listen, brother, this kid can go to college.
Yeah.
You done. Our age, if you would have made it to college and went to the NBA or NFL, which obviously you didn't do, it would have been a wrap by now. So what I'm saying is that energy, there's no place like an HBCU. And right now people are seeing it. That's why Master P's son has chosen to go to an HBCU. I believe it.
Tennessee State?
Yeah, Tennessee State. Either I need to look it up. Ken Griffey Jr. or Darryl Strawberry's son, one of them is playing football for FAMU. We make the choice now to attend HBCUs because that love, that melanin, there's no place.
There's
no place.
Nothing that can really replace that, right?
Right.
Nothing can really replace it.
Nothing. Best time of my life.
See, to all my listeners, sometimes in life you must fail in order to succeed, but one thing must remain certain, that you never, under any circumstances, give up. It's Triumphant Moments with T.Wood, and I got my brother, Senator Powell, with me. Take care.